Entrevistaron a un progre, literalmente progre especialista en curar niños, y los que están siempre a favor de este tipo de cosas se opusieron a que se pusiera el video. La mayoría de diputados votaron para que se viera el video y antes de darle play, los progres se escaparon y lo verás aquí, en este momento. En el verás el clásico debate en el Congreso gringo, relacionado con los niños. Escucharás algunas cosas un tanto perturbadoras, por lo que te sugiero que estés preparado para ello. Además, por fines prácticos hemos dividido el video en dos partes, la primera en la que se oponen los progres a que se vea el video y la segunda en la que este se ve. Míralo completo y no te pierdas de esta información valiosísima que te servirá para defender el sentido común, además eso permite que YouTube envíe el video a más personas. Asimismo, no te olvides suscribirte para ver más videos como este. Empecemos.
Chair recognizes Ms. Kamick for 5 minutes on the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I am so grateful to my colleagues, Representative Crenshaw for his leadership on this bill, and all of my colleagues here who are supporting funding for our children's hospitals. I want to reiterate again that nothing in this bill would prohibit a child with dysphoria from receiving proper mental and behavioral health care services. The underlying text is limited to experimental medical intervention, specifically using puberty blockers, hormone therapies, and surgeries to change a child's behavior. And it was mentioned several times from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that we don't understand this process. And so for the sake of clarity, really, I'd like to show a video, a brief interview that was conducted by an expert in reassignment surgeries from Oregon's healthcare system.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
I object. I move that the committee adjourn. This has turned into a circus. I move that the committee be adjourned.
It's official. It's official testimony.
Madam Chair, can I just ask?
Madam Chair, without objection, I would like to.
Okay.
I would like to play this
Committee
video.
will come to order.
I was going
Motion to adjourn is not debatable, right? So I have to ask. Okay, so Ms. Kamick
Madam
controls
Chair.
the time. She gets her 5 minutes, and then we'll move
Madam
to the
Chair.
vote on the motion
Madam
to
Chair.
adjourn.
We don't want to
Thank
be
you,
held
Madam Chair.
hostage
Sorry,
by whatever it is that you
Excuse
guys
me.
are.
Claiming my
The committee
time.
will come to order.
So
Ms.
you'll
Kamick
have your
controls
votes.
the time. Ms. Kamick controls the time.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, Chairwoman. Without objection, I would like to.
I
play this
object.
video.
There's an
I
objection.
object. We have no foundation or basis for this video. We haven't seen it, and
It's
I
a
object.
medical expert from your side.
I object.
If we don't as you claim, if we do not understand how this surgeries work, I would like to show a video that articulates how these surgeries are conducted. I think that is completely germane to the conversation that we are having here today.
Okay. Just, excuse me. Excuse me. Lady will suspend. Committee will come to order. Okay, so Ms. Kamick gets to finish her 5 minutes, and then we will proceed.
Thank you. Please play the video.
So you objected to the
Video.
It's an interview.
Okay. Okay. Committee stands at recess while the minority gets to look at the video.
I want to look at the video.
2 minutes and 17 seconds.
Oh, 5 minutes.
They have to.
¿Qué mejor acontecimiento a fin de poder llegar a una conclusión en cuanto al tema que la de escuchar a un especialista en el campo? ¿Y cuán mejor para los progres dado que el tío, tal como dijo la diputada, es del lado de ellos? Lo que están proponiendo en el gobierno de Estados Unidos, obviamente la propuesta viene del lado del Partido Republicano. Es que se les dé atención psicológica a los niños que tienen disforia de género en lugar de simplemente decir ese niño me dijo que es niña y posteriormente realizar cosas que pueden tener efectos negativos permanentes en ellos. ¿Tú qué opinas de esa propuesta? Y regresando un poco al punto inicial de este comentario, ¿por qué crees tú que los progres que supuestamente están a favor de ello huyeron? Ellos califican el sustento de la diputada republicana como algo que convierte al Congreso en un circo. Según mi punto de vista y viéndolo desde otra perspectiva, son ellos los que están convirtiendo todo esto en un circo. Se ofendieron tan solo porque la diputada en mención quería mostrarles de manera objetiva cómo se realiza la mencionada terapia y se dejaron llevar por sus emociones y simplemente salieron del lugar. Sigamos con la segunda parte.
Committee will come to order. Committee will come to order. Ms. Kamek had asked unanimous consent for the committee to watch the video. There was an objection. I'm going to yield now to Mr. Pallone for the purposes of his objection.
I looked at the video, but I insist on my objection because I have to be honest, I don't even understand what the person is saying. It's all, to me, it's just almost impossible for us to understand what he's saying and how it relates to what we're discussing here. Even the authentication is difficult. So I insist on the objection, Madam Chair.
Instead of a unanimous consent, the committee, I'm going to ask then that the committee vote as to whether or not to see the video. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. No. The ayes have it.
Recorded vote, Madam Chair.
Yes, for a recorded vote. A recorded vote has been requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Burgess. Burgess votes aye. Latta votes aye. Chair Rogers, on that vote, there are 26 ayes and 18 noes.
The ayes have it. We will watch the video.
We're going to leave. We'll come back.
Okay.
So 80% or so of my practice is affirming surgery. So I do facial, chest surgery, and general surgery. But the majority of my practice and sort of where my passion lies is really general surgery cases. So I do a lot of vaginoplasty and a lot of phalloplasty. I would just say they're expanding in either direction. So yeah, a lot of adolescents presenting for surgical intervention, but also a lot of people that are like in their 70s sometimes coming in for genital surgery, and then everything in between. But the adolescents for sure present some unique challenges. Obviously, there's great evidence supporting pubertal suppression for a whole variety of benefits. But the one thing that is very new is surgery in someone that has underwent pubertal suppression. Not so much an issue in someone with assigned female at birth anatomy that undergoes a phalloplasty, because we're creating something with a free tissue transfer or a flap anyway, but a much bigger issue for an individual that's undergoing a penile inversion vaginoplasty, because we use all of that tissue to basically create the vulva as well as line the internal vaginal canal. And as a specialty, those of us that do a fairly high volume of genital affirming surgery, we've maybe done a handful of pubertally suppressed adolescents as a field, and no one's published on it yet. OHSU we're just putting our first series together as we're kind of learning and figuring out what works. But it's really changing things because you don't have enough tissue to line the vaginal canal. So you either have to take a skin graft or take skin from elsewhere or use some artificial product. The way that we're dealing with it is by using a robot, and we're basically performing intra-abdominal components of the surgery. So we're using peritoneum, which is the inner lining of the abdomen, to line most of the vaginal canal. And by doing that, that allows us to use all of the remaining tissue externally to create a vulva and try to make also an aesthetic result.
So what we just witnessed was an interview last week from Dr. Blair Peters, who is an affirming surgery expert at the University of Oregon's Health and Science Division. Earlier today, just a few minutes ago, our colleagues on the left said that we didn't know what we were talking about. So when presented with a video that details exactly what it means to conduct surgery on a minor for affirming surgery, they left the room. They don't want the facts. And as you heard from the specialist who does these surgeries, They don't know what they don't know. They don't understand the long-term effects. There is not even published information, peer-reviewed information, backing up the claims that our colleagues on the left have said. We are here today to fund children's hospitals, not to them with experimental surgeries that we do not have science and data that backs up the claims that the left has made today. So I stand with my colleagues in funding these children's hospitals, but I also am very disappointed in my colleagues on the left who opted to leave the room in protest and refuse to watch a video from an expert on their own side. With that, Madam Chairwoman, I thank you for allowing me to show this video.
El tío dice que no entendieron lo que él hablaba, pero vamos a ver si tuvieron tiempo para analizar previamente el video porque no lo analizaron de manera seria. ¿Acaso les cuesta indagar en libros en cuanto a los términos que se usan? Felizmente se pidieron votos para ver el video, porque de otro modo, como siempre, la minoría iba a tener implicancia antidemocrática en la decisión de la mayoría. Típico de ellos. Resumiendo, un poco de lo que dijo el doctore, tal como expresan quienes se oponen a lo que hace ese doctore, están volando el avión mientras lo construyen. La frase vuelan el avión mientras lo construyen podría interpretarse como una metáfora para describir una situación en la que se está llevando a cabo una actividad compleja. Como construir un avión de manera simultánea a su uso o implementación. La metáfora sugiere la idea de que se están realizando acciones supuestamente importantes y significativas en el momento presente, sin detenerse para completar una fase antes de pasar a la siguiente. En términos más generales, la frase podría reflejar la multitarea o la realización de múltiples tareas simultáneamente, que en este caso son peligrosas. Mejor dicho, están experimentando, a pesar de que los resultados y estudios han demostrado que no es viable este tipo de cosas y que las consecuencias pueden ser más catastróficas que los supuestos beneficios. Es como si quisieran hacer la vista gorda de ello a fin de seguir intentando construir un avión mientras lo vuelan, cuando la parte ya construida se derrumba. A mí me causó cosas el imaginar que todo ese tipo de cosas se deben hacer en los niños. Y aquí culmina este video. Si te gustó, dale like, comenta el video y compártelo. Asimismo, suscríbete si te gusta este tipo de temática. Muchas gracias, hasta luego.